So, are we supposed to start?
The Princess Antonia Lucius Regulus Volcarin, lips twitch in a slight smile, and she says, "Sister, if you wish for me to go first, I can."
That might be a little easier.
I don't know who Max is. But if I did know him, es un coño, ese pendejo, increíble. These Artie just starts muttering expletives.
Artie and Max were
Triton.
best friends for a while until Max basically treated him like they were just acquaintances.
They're having a bit of a tiff right now.
Yeah, there's a bit more to it than that, but that's the easiest way to explain it, I think.
Antonia covers her hand over her mouth and says, "Oh, that's dreadful. I'm very sorry to hear that."
Yeah, I can't really ask, how do you know your brother? Because, obviously.
She smiles and nods gently and says, "Well, he is almost a stranger to me."
Yeah, he's talked a little about it. He left when you were, what, 5, 6?
Quite young.
Right, do you even remember anything about him before he came home?
I do not have many memories of my brother. He was mostly under the wing of our tutors while our parents attended to matters of state. My father, the Emperor, taught him the way of the sword and the claw, as he did me, but otherwise I only saw him at meals or at events. He left when I was very young.
Right, you guys were really in different age brackets, so you wouldn't have really had, like, the same governess, huh?
That we were. He came back a few times.
Did he?
Yes, once for a parade. He thought I didn't see him in his cloak, but he was standing too close and I caught sight of him. And once he made an official visit, but it was cold and formal. He did bring me a gift, though.
Really? When was that?
I must have been, and she thinks for a moment, about 10? So, 4 years ago?
Huh. Okay. What, he brought you something?
She touches her sash, and you realize that it's pinned by this beautiful golden brooch that has a ruby in it. And she says, "This."
That's lovely.
It is. And then, a month and a half ago, he returned. And I have reason to believe that he came from all of you.
A month and a half ago. Okay. Right. And he got thrown in prison immediately?
Oh, no. He said he wanted to take ruling seriously. He attempted to reconnect with my father and mother. Our father and mother.
Not totally used to calling it that, huh?
It has been some time. He went back to learning the ways of state, but I think he seemed a little distant, and our old tutors were not happy to be brought out of retirement. We spent time together, though. He didn't say much about his life outside of Volcaris. And you notice, Juliana, that Antonia's eyes flick to you when she says what he doesn't talk about. He seemed distant, but happy to be back.
Right, okay. And how long ago did that change?
She seems to stiffen a little. Well, over dinner, whenever we were together as a family, he would fight with my father. Mostly over the ethics of decisions my father made. Nothing of great excitement. But one day, about a month ago, after a particularly vicious argument, I went to check on my father. I wanted to see if he was all right. Her voice wobbles a bit, and she says, "I found him dead, with my brother standing over him." And then her face goes stony still, and she says, "As is the correct way to do things, I had him arrested immediately. Then I spoke with him. He claimed innocence. I don't know why, but I believed him. I know that he has killed many people, even I have, but I do not think that he would have killed our father. And, well, you know the rest. We searched for some loopholes. We found one. And he told me that he had a bride. This came as a surprise to me, but I see now that he was telling the truth. And it is my honor to meet my long-lost sister and her companions. And she bows her head slightly.
Jill tries to hide a grimace. Okay. And she keeps, like, I think throughout all of this, she keeps looking back and forth at the guards that she brought in. And this is... They all know this as well, everyone else. And she gestures to the guards again.
Antonia looks back at her guard and says, "Oh, yes, my guard are hand-picked. They are trusted."
Okay.
Wynn roots around in her bag of holding for a moment and then pulls out a bag of basically the shitty snack food that she got while they were flying recently.
Oh, on Eberron?
On Eberron, yeah. And she just kind of noisily opens the bag, so it's just crinkling in the background, and pulls out... It basically, I'm imagining, like, Andy Capp's hot fries.
Just some really gross, over-fried sticks.
Yeah, and she starts popping them in her mouth.
The disrespect. That's incredible.
Well, it's less disrespect, and obviously, like, she is listening rapidly to this, like eating popcorn.
Okay, alright. The princess says, "It seems that I have indeed held up my end of the bargain. Will you all tell me now what you know about my brother?"
Sure.
Juliana kind of tries to exchange looks with the others.
Wynn lifts her eyebrows to Jill, tilts her head, and says, she'll do a message, since that's lets them communicate. And she and Jill can go back and forth without anybody else hearing. She's like, "I figure we'll talk to her about the pirates, say you two hit it off from there." And then he said that he had to go deal with some stuff back in Vidoni's base and left us.
Should we try to leave the timeline?
The princess cuts in and says, "My friends, you do not need to cast a cantrip. You can just confer in the corner if you need a moment."
Oh, thank you.
VSM, she can see you doing that.
That's true. She scoots over on her stool, because she's still riding her stool around, and scoots over with Artie and Jill, and then says, I figure we can just tell her how we met him pirating things. You two hit it off, got married.
Okay.
And then he quickly left.
Okay.
That would indicate why you call him, your dirtbag husband.
Okay, should we worry about, like, compressing the timeline here at all, or is that his problem? You know what, that's probably his problem.
Yeah, that's his problem in my opinion.
That's true. Okay.
All right.
Artie, any input here?
I just want some snacks.
Wynn holds out the handicap's hot fries towards Artie.
Yes, thank you.
Seriously, this is like, I know this guy's a shithead, but, like, what are your thoughts on this?
I don't want him dead by anyone else's hands. So I guess... You know what? Dirtbags always say they're going to pull out, but they never do.
Thanks. Wynn pulls out a box of honey buns and just offers them first to Jill and Artie.
Yeah, she jerks her head back towards Antonia.
Yeah.
Behind you, Antonia raises a hand to one of her guards, and she says, "Would you please bring some refreshments for our guests?" And the guard salutes and walks away.
Do you want some shitty food from Eberron?
Like junk food? Like from a convenience store?
Yeah, she asked Antonia this as well as the guards.
Antonia raises a hand and says, "Thank you very kindly for your offer, but I just ate."
She nods and then rips open the honey bun and takes a bite.
Okay.
What was that place called? The pirate place?
Providence Bay?
We met Max in Providence Bay. Except for Artie, he met him beforehand. I don't know what happened there.
Drinks. I think.
Apparently they drank a lot together.
When we met Max, he was working as a pirate. He didn't really talk about himself much. He kind of avoids that whenever possible, honestly.
Yes, met him at a party. He and Jill instantly took a shine to each other. They were dancing and talking basically the whole night, and when we returned to our ship.
Well, I definitely didn't dance with anybody else that night.
No, you did not. From there, we traveled with him. We went on a few adventures. Those two, she kind of gestures vaguely towards Jill. They ended up getting married. And kind of, at home, there are cities where you'll go to just kind of get married really quickly. I don't know if that's a thing here in Fedoni space. Those two did that, and then almost instantly, Max said...
It's called eloping.
They eloped. And then almost instantly, Max said that he had to get back here to save you, left, and we haven't seen him since he came to find us.
For us, it's been about 6 months.
Yep.
Not sure what happened in the 4.5-month blank space that we seem to have here.
And that's also why your sister here will often call him her dirtbag husband.
It all happened really quick. Honestly, I kind of feel like I'm still trying to get to know him myself.
Antonia nods and says, a 4.5-month gap is not what it takes to get from Providence Bay to here. Something must have happened.
Yeah, but we haven't really had a whole lot of time to talk.
Indeed. I'm sure that for us, and she turns to him and says, would our guests be able to visit His Highness? And the healer nods. She turns back and says, well, you will be able to speak with him as soon as we're done here.
That would be super.
And what you've described, is there anything else you know about my brother? What has happened since you met up with him in Artemisia?
Not... I mean, honestly, Your Highness, it's mostly been travel.
A lot of travel? Someone tried to kill him? Via us? And all of us, I suppose?
We think they were targeting him. That seems the most likely thing.
We crashed, bandits attacked us, and here we are.
First, dearest Juliana, you do not have to call me Your Highness. Please, call me sister. Or Antonia. We are related now, after all.
I'll try.
She says, thank you. It is concerning that his ship was shot down, but also so were others, and it is a mystery what this weapon is that was used to do this. We are all concerned.
Yeah, do you have any reports on any of the rest of them? Was it the same thing? It knocked out the person at the helm?
A total of 9 ships were downed that day over the city, of varying sizes. Some were small knife ships, some were giant trader ships. Even a turtle ship was taken down with a single strike from this weapon. It all happened in the space of about 5 minutes, and everybody died except for you.
What? How?
We don't know.
Huh.
It's been 3 days. We're still simply trying to tally up the bodies.
I mean, were guards, soldiers sent to all of the crash sites? How did you guys find us? You're probably not the person to ask here.
Sister, yours was the only ship with anyone alive to trigger a distress signal. All our guards carry beacons on them, but yours was the only ship with anyone with a beacon on it. The rest were all civilian ships.
Perhaps it was because after Lachlan collapsed, I was able to jump in and slow our descent. I don't know if the civilian ships would be able to.
Surely most ships would have at least 2 helmsmen. You can't travel otherwise. You have to work off in shifts.
They would have like 2 or 3, but would all of them be... I mean, we all know that we are above and beyond what most would consider average magic users or adventurers.
I mean, I think what she means is that we're the only ones who had Vidoni guards that would be able to trigger a beacon that would be picked up by other Vidoni guards.
That's fair.
It took word of mouth and reports from scouts to even locate all the other ships. When we found them down in the Undercity, all that was left were occasional corpses, sometimes picked clean. All the wreckage had been looted by the citizens living in those lower areas.
Actually, Your Highness, do you know if all wreckage, if the items on board our ship were gathered?
She turns to one of her guards, and the guard steps forward and says, "All your possessions that were collected have been retained in the Royal Armory."
Excellent, thank you.
We are told that there was some chattel as well. One seems to have escaped us. A cat, I believe, has been seen around here.
Yeah, that's bad.
The other is in the kennels.
Oh,
And that's our flail snail?
that's probably our flail snail.
Oh, good, he's safe.
Is that what it's called? I see.
I mean,
Lawnmower is safe, life is good.
hey, flail snails have a great challenge rating. That shell's no joke.
Yeah, it's like a challenge rating of 3.
We were just supposed to make a delivery here, so I was very concerned about the goods we were supposed to safely transport being...
Yeah, we did have some cargo.
I am led to believe that a few small items of cargo were magically protected and are with the rest of the possessions that were recovered. There is, however, not much else remaining.
Well, I mean, something's better than nothing.
Yes.
You're Antonia. Were any of the corpses, heads?
She looks surprised for a moment and says, "Heads, sister?"
Yeah, any heads intact? I mean, a skeleton's probably not that great, but like any bodies with heads still attached. Or heads by
Oh
themselves.
no, are we going to dig up another body?
She looks to her guard, who shrugs.
Okay.
And the guard says, "I do not know, Your Highness."
Because if you can get any of that... I mean, hell, okay, we've got access to, like, coffers now. I mean, if you can bring me some of those people within the next couple of days, I could revive some people, if nothing else. Or, barring that, I could do we could potentially do a speak with dead and ask them if they remember anything about what happened. I mean, I assume you've got clerics working on this already.
The princess and the guard look utterly confounded at how enthusiastic you are about this.
What?
And Antonia says, she freezes and says, "Oh, as my sister wishes." And she turns to her guard and says, "See to it." And the guard snaps his fingers and 2 soldiers run off.
Have you guys not been reviving any people that seemed like they were more intact? Was that not like the first thing you started, your cleric started doing was saving people?
Dear sister, you are describing some mighty magic there.
It's a 5th level spell, it's really not.
It's above and beyond what I think most could do.
We've been doing a lot of adventuring. There's a lot of adventurers out there, and this is a big-ass city. I'm gonna be real suspicious that there aren't at least some adventurers around here that have those kinds of abilities.
I wouldn't be shocked if there were some adventurers, but I would be...
Yeah, but you wouldn't keep any, like, high-level clerics on staff? I mean, Sybil said she was a former adventurer. That's, like, they hire.
Antonia looks taken aback.
What?
And kind of confronted. Dear sister, you have unusual priorities.
What's unusual about helping people?
She pauses and then says, "Varas, would you explain to my sister what is going on? This is not my realm of expertise." And Varas nods and says, "Your Highness, the magic you are describing is beyond the means of almost every cleric in the city, if not on the planet."
What? Even speak with dead?
Of those who are capable of such spells, most are off on special jobs, on retainers, or otherwise engaged. They are not something you can just put a word out for, and they'll come and raise strangers.
You at least have clerics with speak with dead, right? That know that one?
I can cast it once a day. I believe... He pauses and thinks for a moment and says, maybe 3 other clerics can cast spells of that level. but mostly our spells go towards healing, not dealing with those who do not need healing any longer. Your Highness,
Juliana just stares.
it is refreshing to meet someone with such distinctly modern views, Your Highness.
What?
I'm sure there is much we can learn from you.
Modern? What? What does that mean? What?
It means you're not a selfish prick.
A guard steps forward and says, "How dare you speak to Her Highness like that?" And then Antonia raises a hand and the guard falls silent. And she says, "Peace. You can see that we are all under a lot of stress right now. I propose that we take some time to rest while we make sure my brother is prepared for a visit."
Okay. Then if they can start the most intact bodies that have been dead for less than 10 days, if they can start collecting those, and if you guys have a lot of diamonds handy, that would be super. Like 500 gold diamonds, if you've got any of those, just sort of lying around. I'm gonna need one per spell. I can cast... I can do like 2 or 3 of those per 8 hours. I'll need to rest, but I can start bringing people back.
Antonia says, "Dearest sister, you do not need to bother yourself with such matters."
If no one else can do it, then I can do it.
She glances at Varas for a moment, and glances at her guard, and then she looks back to you, Juliana, and says, "Very well.
I mean, if I can do something, I can't not do it."
As you say. Now, shall we visit with my brother?"
Sure.
Okay. I should probably get, like, dressed. Can we get dressed?
Antonia says, "Of course. Let us depart and give them a few minutes to get ready."
I'm staying in my pajamas. Max does not get me at my best.
The princess stands, and she and the guards start to move towards the door, and she says, "Varas, shall we meet you at my brother's quarters?" And Varas nods, and "Then I shall see all of you soon." And she departs and closes the door behind her. And Varas comes over and says, "Please, allow me to help you get up and dress. I'm sure you are still in a lot of pain, all of you."
If I could get one of those wheelie chairs.
Yeah, speaking of which, I think I can do another heal.
It has been a day. You only have 1 level of exhaustion left.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but there's also, like, the injuries and stuff, right?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, you did the heal on me already, so Gwen is looking better.
Then she'll do it on Artie.
I believe Artie has nothing left that needs healing.
Minor internal injury, major concussion, severe bruising, is that all cleared?
No, Arturo's had a festering wound, which could be cured with just like a heal.
Oh, you're right, I was
like,
looking at the wrong
magical
thing.
healing.
Okay, festering wound, severe bruising, major concussion. How's he doing on those?
Let me just double check the major concussion. Heal and regenerate will cure it, or it'll heal on its own in 4 weeks.
It's been a few days.
Okay, yeah, then she'll do the heal on Arturo's.
In that case, Arturos, your headache fades instantly, and you feel more clear-headed than you have in a long time.
Oh, thank goodness.
You no longer have disadvantage on int, whiz, or charisma checks.
Sweet.
And now there's only Juliana.
By design.
So, do you permit Varus to help you get dressed?
I mean, I'd be a little more comfortable if it was a lady rather than an old guy I don't know.
Varus freezes and says, "Oh, of course. Customs, yes. He says, I will be... 1 moment. And he turns and leaves.
Was that weird? Did they not do that?
In a moment later, in come a couple of female nurses who start to help you get dressed.
Okay. Actually, what do we even have to get dressed in?
They actually bring in some new robes. They're very plain. They're just brown robes. They're straight up brown robes. They have white tabards that do not have the symbol of the clinging on them, like Varas's. And they give each of you also a sash around your waist. To Arturos and Wynn, you get silver. To Juliana, you get gold.
Not a fan.
Why do you get the it goes so much better with my skin.
It honestly does. You look great in gold.
I look fantastic in gold.
Yeah, silver's just not your color.
It washes me out.
One of the nurses bows deeply to you, Arturos, and says, I am very sorry, sir. Only royalty may wear gold sashes.
Technically.
Wait.
No, this is Artie. This is Archie. Right. Never mind.
Arnie. This is our friend Artie.
Yes. Arnie Artie.
That's right. He is certainly not royalty.
No.
But I thought you told Varas your name was Arch... No? No,
That's
my
a
goodness.
nickname. Don't worry
Forgive
about
me.
it.
The nurses bow low and walk backwards out the door.
Oh, I hate that they do that. Hey, so that went bad, right?
We really should have come up with a better name.
No. I mean, obviously that went bad. I mean, like with the princess, that went bad, right?
Did it?
I think it was fine. I mean, at the end it got a little awkward, but I don't really mind how it got awkward.
Oh yeah, that dude was so, like, rude. You don't know me like that, bro.
I mean, you did kind of insult the princess of the empire to her face. It would make sense if he got a little mad about it. Okay. All right.
Ready to go see
Okay.
Max?
Yeah, let's go see my husband.
Ooh, did they bring the rolly chairs?
Wynn shoves a rolly chair over towards Artie as she lounges in her own.
Yes, race!
I don't want to race, but thank you.
So, just clarifying, we established last session that these are just stools with casters on the bottom. Wheelie
Yes.
casters. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Very good.
Wynn just putters along, rolling hers.
On what? Out of curiosity, do you have like a crutch that you're using?
I think at this point, since she's healed, she's just kind of pushing along on her feet slowly.
You're not using a crutch like a gondola?
No. She's upgraded herself. She's now Flintstoning it.
Artie gets a running start and, like, glides down the hallway. And probably misses the door.
Jill's got crutches.
Alright, so you coast down the rows of beds to a door, and the door you saw the nurses go out. And you come out into a hall made of stone. It's pretty well lit. There are some windows that are a little too high up for you to see out of, but the air coming through them smells nice. And there are torches lighting the way. They actually seem to be magical flames because they're not giving off any smoke. The head cleric bows low and says, "It is good to see you up. Please come with me." And then he leads you through what is basically a maze of hallways. You pass all sorts of people, mostly servants, all of whom tower over you, but who are all dressed pretty simply, wearing coloured sashes that are mostly plain.
I'm just saying chairs and you put wheels on them. It's gonna blow this whole thing wide open.
Eventually you come to a pretty large door, and you notice that you don't actually have to go up or down any stairs. This hospital was clearly designed for that kind of accessibility.
Yeah, for chairs with wheels on them.
You come to a large wooden door. It's pretty plain looking, and Varas reaches up and knocks on it 3 times. It opens a crack, and then opens wide, revealing one of Antonia's guards, and you were all let into a very fine bedroom. The only difference from this, this is the most ornate bedroom you've ever seen in your life. Think like Biancarta, but actually like wealthy and not just mildly wealthy.
Are we still in a hospital?
You seem to still be inside the hospital. Near the bed, which is quite large, I should stress, is a bunch of tables, some of which are on rollers, some of which are just against the wall. And there are all sorts of medical and surgical equipment on them or stuck to the wall next to them. So clearly this is used for medical purposes, but is just for, like, rich bastards. And there is, on the bed, someone you know. It is Max, and his eyes are open. Lying on a small cot off to the side of the room is also Sybil. Her eyes are closed. And Antonia sits on a stool next to Max's bed. as you come into the room, Max sort of raises a hand and croaks, "Hey."
How are you doing?
As you all come into the door, Varas shuts the door behind you, and Max says, "Oh man, I'm doing great. I got fucked up." And Antonia gently slaps his arm and says, "Brother, language." And he says, "I got messed up."
How many drugs are you on?
Yes.
Hey, why didn't we get drugs?
You did for a while.
Wait, we did?
Mhm.
Oh, shit.
Wow, he's on the fancy stuff, huh?
Wynn pulls out a honey bun and just puts it in Max's hand.
Max's eyes widen. He looks up at Wynn and says, "If you weren't a lesbian, I'd love you forever," and then just takes a huge bite of the bun.
She nods her head.
Wow.
Antonia looks aghast. Like her mask actually cracks for a second and then settles. And she says, "Dearest brother, your wife is in the room." And he's like, "I know, right? I married her. She's so pretty, man."
I am a lesbian. I don't mind.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, what?
He starts to tear up a little. "I hit the jackpot. That's my wife."
Oh, he's on some really, really
He's on the good drugs.
isn't he? He's on the great drugs.
I hate it when he's on drugs. He's so lovable.
You realize
Oh.
that because the clerics in this hospital are nothing compared to you, to the capabilities of your party, even compared honestly to Wynn's healing capabilities, Max has had to basically raw dog this on cure wounds, which means that his pain relief is far more mundane than dual casting heal and all your wounds closing up.
Wow.
So he is on the good drugs.
You look like shit.
And Antonia's mouth drops open. But then Max says, "I know, right? I would feel like shit, but Vari here got me the good stuff."
Wait,
Oh, very.
And and he says, "Yeah, he doesn't like me calling him that, so don't tell him I called him that."
Oh.
And Varas
Oh,
just
wow.
stands still with his hands clasped over his chest.
It's like, I could probably help fix this, but also, this is hilarious.
oh yeah, no, don't. I'm about to poke him.
Do it.
Artie goes to poke him.
Max says, "Oh, are you gonna poke me? Is that a promise, Artie?"
Oh, he's trying to flirt with you while he's mega drugged up.
Would you poke me, Arturos?
Wow, I really wish I could, record this.
Artie just, his mouth starts doing a very big frown. I don't... How dare you? I'm not high! I can't do this with you!
Antonia says, "Please, brother, control yourself." And Max says, "I can't control shit. Andy, I'm drunk." And she says, "You are not drunk.
Oh my
You're
God.
on opium."
Ooh, the really good shit.
Oh my God, he's on the he's on the best shit imaginable. Oh my
And he's
God.
like, Andy, listen." And he reaches out and grabs her hand and says, "I love you so much."
You bitch!
And she's like, "Please, brother."
Oh, I really, really, really wish. You guys don't know any magic that records, moments or something, right?
Nope.
Am I just gonna have to keep copious notes on this?
Gonna have to keep copious notes.
Everyone looks confused, really confused, but half at Max and half at you, Jill, just talking about high-end artifice items as if they're just a dime a dozen.
I mean, I don't know if this exists, but it feels like there should at some point. Somebody's got to have some kind of, visual recording thing. I could set up a spell that, gives me a feed, but I wouldn't be able to, show it and play it back later for blackmail purposes.
Wynn casually does a spin on her stool, so she's now settled in next to Max reaches into her bag, pulls out a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos, opens them, and then just holds the bag between her and Max so she can eat and he can't too.
Max is delighted. He reaches out and grabs your arm and says, When,
Yes, Max.
ever since Arturo's hated me, you're my new best friend. I miss him so much. And he starts sobbing into your arm.
This is why I didn't bother dressing up. I'm just wearing my pajamas.
No, I want to hear more about this. You miss him a lot?
You miss him a lot?
What would you say to Arturos?
I miss my best friend. He punched me. We fought and I was a bad person and I'm sorry.
Wait, so I am your best friend.
Oh, you're my best friend. And he reaches an arm out for you. Do you jump into his arms?
Oh, for sure.
Oh no, he's on so many drugs. He's on so many painkillers.
He holds you so close and squeezes you tight enough that you can almost start to begin to feel it.
Artie is just like cradled in his arms, and they're both sobbing messes.
And Max like plants a kiss on your forehead and is like, I miss you, my best friend.
Why couldn't you say it, amor? Porque estás tan... Porque...
Antonia is not even trying to comprehend this anymore. She looks broken. She looks like something has damaged her on the inside.
You really didn't you really didn't prep him for a visit, did you?
Everyone is speechless, Jill. Everyone is speechless. You're saying this to a crowd of people who have never seen the Crown Prince like this before.
Well, what's he been like for the past couple of days, if not this?
Quiet.
Oh.
Very, very quiet.
Really?
This is more in line with how we're used to, really.
Well,
not this forward of information.
definitely not this affectionate either.
Yes, but more chatty, more prone to ignoring fancy language.
Is this what has become of him since?
No, this is opium. This is a lot of opium.
This is a lot of opium.
This is so much opium. You gave him so much opium.
And Varas says, we didn't really give him that much.
Really? Really? Is he a lightweight?
I've never seen him drink.
It's dangerous to give too much.
Oh my goddess, is he like... Wait. He's really chatty right now. Can we get him to say something?
They're still sobbing.
We can get him to say the phrase!
Antonia looks horrified and looks at you, Jill, and back at Max and looks at you and then says, what would you have my brother say?
Max, look at me! Max, look at me!
Max reaches out and grabs Antonia's sleeve and says, Andy, I'll say fucking anything they want me to. They're my best friends and I love them. Oh, Win, what is it?
I am a very clever wolfman.
Max raises his fist above his head and says, I am a very clever wolfman!
Yes! Says Win.
Just like in the story.
Just like in the story.
And you love Arturos.
Jemjammer is performed by Annie Creighton, Anna Emmeline, Rio Rios, and Mackenzie Weaver, and is edited by Jake Mason. Our cover art is by Canary Witch, who can be found at canarywitch.carrd.co, and our character design is by Rio Rios, who can be found at rios.com. Our opening and closing music is by Saad Akhtar Ali. For bonus content, such as Jilliana's private diary, behind-the-scenes homebrew stuff, and other features from our other shows, I Will Fight You and Date Me Damn It, our Patreon has it all from only $1 a month at patreon.com/thejemjam. Thank you so very much for listening. Stay safe out there, and we'll catch you next time.
Jacob, apology? Jacob, what the fuck? Go ahead. Jake, apologies if you hear crunching. I'm eating a baguette. I don't know why I said go ahead and then I started talking again. I guess I was giving myself permission.
Did you just pick me up? Did you just hear me call him Jacob and now you're just doing it?
I don't know. I think it's because I'm so used to saying Lucas. And so I'm like, where's the second syllable there?